In this chapter 4 video, we're just going to do a short, quick introduction preview to the new scenario manager that is coming in 2024 R2. Okay, so going back to the model we've been working on, we have this analysis manager where we've defined some factors, some block factors, some database factors, some block responses and database responses. And then we've also done some experiments. We can look at them through the results tab or directly in the analysis database. What does this have to do with the new scenario manager? Well, what we're doing with we're trying to provide a natural progression to how you go about doing analysis with a model over its lifespan. So you start building your model, you start doing a little bit of analysis, maybe you add some factors and responses, and maybe by the time you're ready to do scenario management, you may have already set up a pretty good base for the factors and the responses that you want to explore with your scenario manager. So it should come as no surprise that this new scenario manager, we're currently calling it the case study manager. We're not sure what the final name of this block will be, but it should come as no surprise that this block will also take advantage of the analysis database, right? So what you get is when you drop this block, this beta block, it's not quite ready yet, but it will be. You drop it into your model, you open up the dialog of the block and it says, hey, you haven't defined a study yet. Do you want to? You can say sure. So we'll call this study 1. Okay. And notice that all of the factors and responses that you've already defined through your model are recognized by this case study manager block. Now, we also have access to 2 more dimensions for our factors, as you would expect for scenario management. We've got block factors here, a starting value, maybe the ending value here should be, I don't know, 6, right? And let's just keep the step at 1. Notice with the database stuff, we're doing the same thing. So block factors and database factors are kind of have the same format, right? You have a starting value, an ending value, and a step. We'll make this step a 13, maybe from 42 to a 43, and then maybe from 222 to 223. At this point, we need to save the study because this block can represent as many different studies as you would want it to. So anytime you make a change to a study, you need to save that study. So we can just simply overwrite the factors with the changes we just made, or we can actually overwrite the factors and create new scenarios out of this new range of values for our factors. So I'm going to do that, and it gives you a warning, say, hey, you're about to overwrite or save over your existing study 1. Are you sure you want to do that? You say okay. And now we've got an interesting set of ranges of values for the factors that we have been working with since chapter 1, and then in chapter 2, and also in chapter 3. So at this point, we can go to the scenarios tab, and we can see based on the value of ranges, the range of values that we created, we've got 72 different scenarios, full factorial possible combinations, 72. And this is where we can whittle some of this down. So let me just get rid of some of these scenarios, right? So let's select none, and then I'll select, like, I don't know, 6 scenarios, and then I'm going to say, hey, oh, whoops, I did that wrong. So let's select none, and then just select 6 scenarios. And I'm going to click the select button here and toggle. And then I'm just going to say, you know what, for all these other 66 scenarios, let's just delete them for demonstrational purposes. gone. Oh, that, okay, yeah, let's see. Let's save that. Okay, so this is a beta block, it's a bug. Let's build. That delete is not working, so I'm gonna have to save. I'm gonna have to go with the 72, okay? Now we can go to the Run Experiments tab, and we can say, you know what, let's look at the scenarios that we defined for study one, and we've got the 72, but I can say, you know what, let's set the number of replications for all 72 to 2 replications, and that results in 140 total replications. Let's set that number back to 0, okay? And let's instead just do 1 replication for a couple of different scenarios. So this gives us a total of 5 scenarios to run. Now we're just gonna, on a single core, we're going to load and run these scenarios. Okay, all right. So we need to select none, and then for these guys, we need to do this. Okay, so now we're going to run. This tells us what scenarios we want to run, and then how many times we want to run them. So let's do this. Try this again, and we're going to chunk through. There's 1 replication. Here's 2. So you get to see how far along in the experiment you are. And then we're done. And as you would, I think, hope or expect for at this point, you go to the Results tab. You have a similar looking interface, and all the results are again stored in the analysis database, right? The other thing I want to mention is that by the time we're ready to release this block for R2, you will have the option to run your scenarios in series, on a single core, or in parallel. So that would hopefully, at that point, for between the features that we're adding for multi-core in R1 and then for R2, we're hoping that gives you somewhat of a complete set of single and multi-core analysis capabilities in ExtendSim. And I think that wraps up this video.